Hello students, welcome you back for the course of MBA Semester 3 Human Relations and Legal Framework. Today is our lecture 10 and we are going to start a discussion on other important definitions and terms in Industrial Dispute Act 1947 and machinery for investigation and settlement of industrial dispute. The primary objective of our today's session is to help to understand some important definitions of Industrial Dispute Act 1947 and machinery for investigation and settlement of industrial dispute. So, the government of India has made a various mechanism for the settlement of industrial dispute that we are going to discuss with this Industrial Dispute Act 1947. The contents of our today's session are retrenchment, which is defined in section 200, award in section 10A and as well as section 2B of the Act, appropriate government, which is defined in section 2A, closure, which is defined in section 2CC, trade union, it is defined in section 2QQ, wages, which is defined in section 2RR, dismissal of any particular workman, it is also defined in section 2A of the Industrial Dispute Act 1947, and there will be some important mechanism the government of India has made for the machine, that is called as the machinery for investigation and settlement of industrial dispute. So first we are going to start a discussion that is called as retrenchment. It is defined in section 200. So retrenchment means the termination of any particular employee or workman by an employer, okay, by means of using some sort of disciplinary action, okay. So if any sort of misconduct has been there by means of any particular employee or any workman, here there are some rights which are being given to the employer. The employer can terminate the employee by means of using some sort of action, and that will be called as some disciplinary action, wherever the employer will specify the reason of that termination. It does not include any kind of voluntary retirement of the workman, okay. If suppose the workman has taken the voluntary retirement of workman or reaching the age of superannuation, if the contract of the employment or between the employer and the workman concerned contains a stipulation in that behalf, if any particular employee that is going to be retired, okay, or he has completed the age of superannuation, so that retrenchment could not be happen. Termination of service of the workman as a result of non-renewable of the contract of the employment between the employer and the workman concerned on its expiry, or such contract which terminated under the stipulation in that behalf contained therein, if the contract has been specified, okay, whatever terms and conditions with respect to the termination, that is only entertained with the retrenchment section. Other than that, it could not be entertained. Termination of service of the workman on the ground of continued ill health, even that could not be entertained in case of retrenchment. Thus, the definition contemplates the following requirements for retrenchment. So, there are some appropriate conditions under which the employer can terminate any particular employee or workman. There should be a termination of service of the workman. So one can terminate the complete service of the workman, okay. The termination should be by the employer. So all termination can be made by the employer. Termination is not the result of punishment, okay, inflicted by the way of disciplinary action. punishment is something different, okay, and that disciplinary action would be something different, okay, that we are going to discuss in the forthcoming sessions. So on account of any sort of misconduct by any particular employee or employer, okay, there could be a termination. There will not be any punishment to the employer. That could be comes under the process of retrenchment by an employer. The definition excludes the termination of service on the specified ground or instances mentioned in it. So whatever has been specified in the contract, that should comes under the process of retrenchment, which can be specified by the employer in the form of contract, and it is communicated to the employee. The next definition is called as an award, okay. So award is nothing but an interim or final determination of any industrial dispute or any question relating thereto by any labor court, industrial tribunal, national tribunal, or any sort of mechanism which has been made by the government of India. So government of India has made certain mechanism for the process of investigation and settlement of industrial dispute, that is labor court, industrial tribunal, and national tribunal or national industrial tribunal. That mechanism works under certain sort of machinery for the settlement of industrial dispute, okay, that is called as conciliation, arbitration, and adjudication process. So under which some sort of activities that could go specifically to resolve any particular industrial dispute and arrive on any particular decision. That decision would be called as an award, okay, and it should be binding on both the parties. The next definition, that is called as appropriate government, which is defined in section 2A of the Industrial Dispute Act 1947. What does that appropriate government means? In relation to any industrial dispute concerning any industry carried on by or under the authority of certain government, that is called as central government. So whatever the authority that who regulate the activities specifically relating to the industrial dispute, okay, and that authority will be generally the central government authorities, that comes under the process of conciliation, arbitration, and adjudication, okay, and that machinery is nothing but the labor court, industrial tribunal, and national tribunal. So in relation to any other industrial dispute, okay, sometimes there will be a state government that is acting as an appropriate government. So whenever we are talking about an appropriate government, okay, any matter that is connected with the industrial dispute with respect to any industry, either it should be looked by the central government, okay, and in particular state it should be looked by the state government. So that is called as an appropriate government. Closure. Closure has been defined in section 2CC, okay. So closure means the permanent closing down of the place of employment or a part thereof. So closure is nothing but either the permanent closing, okay, or sometimes it will be a temporary closing of the place of employment or any industrial premises, or we are closing down some part of that particular industry or industrial premises or any manufacturing plant. So that comes under the closure. So closure has been defined in section 2CC. Trade union, which is also defined in section 2QQ. So any trade union that is nothing but trade union registered under the Trade Union Act 1926. So the association of employees, okay, which could be registered under the Trade Union Act 1926, which can be only treated as a trade union, and it must be a registered trade union, which is defined in this Industrial Dispute Act 1947. Wages. So wages are nothing but the some sort of remuneration, okay, or we will call it is a means of all remuneration capable of being expressed in terms of money or some monetary terms, which would in terms of employment express or implied were fulfilled to be payable to the workman in respect of his employment or work done in which such employment, which will include the following. Means whatever form of remuneration that should be expressed in the form of money or any monetary value, okay, that should be carried out during the course of employment by any particular worker, okay. So they need to be paid certain remuneration, and that remuneration are called as wages. So wages will include some sort of allowances, okay, that will include dearness allowances as a workman for the time being entitled to. So how much amount of time the employer has been employed that particular workman, okay, for which they should have to give some sort of allowances including dearness allowances. The value of any house accommodation or supply of light, water, medical attendance or any other amenity or of any services, of any concessional supply of food grains and other articles, even that could comes under the section 2 double R, okay, that can be defined as wages. So wages can be either it is in the value of any sort of house accommodation or supply of certain uh, uh, to meet some day to day activities, okay, or any traveling concessions, okay, that should be provided in some monetary value. But it does not include, okay, any sort of bonuses, okay. Bonus is also monetary value which could be offered to the particular group of employees, okay, either by means of giving some benefits to the employees or workers. Any contribution paid or payable by the employer to any pension fund or provident fund, okay, for the benefit of the workman under any law of the time being in force. It should not cover any sort of fund that is related with pension or provident fund, okay, wherever the worker could be get benefited, it is being separately defined, okay. So it will not cover bonus, it will not cover pension fund and provident fund. Any kind of gratuities, okay, are also there, okay, on that should be offered on the during the course of superannuation period, okay, or after the termination of the service of the employee. So that employee could get entitled and gratuity amount, okay, to secure their near future. Any commission payable on the promotion of the sales or business or both. So any sort of commissions, okay, that should be paid on the basis of sales which has been made by that particular employee, that is also not counted in terms of wages. The next one is called as dismissal, which is defined in section 2AA. It is quite theoretical, okay, but sometimes since we are studying the law subjects, okay, that definitions we could not change, so quite look after these definitions very appropriately. So any employer, okay, whenever he discharges or dismisses or retrenches or otherwise terminate the service of any particular individual workman, any dispute or difference between the workman and his employer connected with or arising out of using some sort of discharge, dismissal or retrenchment or any termination shall be deemed to be an industrial dispute, notwithstanding that no other workman nor any union of the workman is a party to the dispute. So dismissal would be sometimes temporary, okay, or sometimes it will be permanent, okay, that should be depend on the kind of some sort of misconduct which has been done by that particular group of employee or workers. So employer could decide about what sort of discharges, dismisses or any form of retrenchments, okay, or termination of service of any individual workman due to any a sort of differences in between the workman and the employer. The ambit of Section 2A is not limited to bare discharge, dismissal, or retrenchment or termination of service of the individual workman, but any dispute or differences between the workman or the employer connected with or arising out of discharge, dismissal, retrenchment, termination is to be deemed to be an industrial dispute. It has been considered whether the claim of gratuity is connected with or arising out of discharge, dismissal, retrenchment, or any sort of termination of service. So it could be whenever we are talking about that is dismissal. So dismissal can be applied to that particular individual workman wherever there is some sort of dispute or differences in between the workman and the employer that is arising out of due to the processes of discharge, dismissal, or retrenchment, or in any process of that termination that is deemed to be defined under the Industrial Dispute Act 1947. Even in some cases, okay, it has to be considered whether the claim of gratuity is connected with or arising out of discharge, dismissal, or retrenchment or termination. If the employee is liable to get a gratuity, okay, that should be covered in the process of dismissal. Okay, there are certain provisions which are made under the Industrial Dispute Act during the process of dismissal process. Okay, wherever the employer has been completed the age of superannuation, okay, or suppose he has been retired, so the employer should have to give the gratuity to that particular employee. Now there are different machineries for the investigation and settlement of dispute. So these are called as first one is called as conciliation. Second one is called as arbitration. In general, we call it is a voluntary arbitration. And third one is called as adjudication. So these three important mechanism that is available by means of using the government of India wherever they were set up the different authorities, and that different authorities could after it look after the process of investigation and settlement of industrial dispute in India. The first one is called as conciliation. So conciliation is one of the very initial process. It is something like the process of collective bargaining, wherever in case of process of conciliation the representative of the management, employee, as well as trade union, they comes together, okay, in front of certain third person or body of person with a view to induce or persuade them to arrive at some agreement to their satisfaction in the larger interest of the industry and community as whole. So in case of process of conciliation, what happens, certain group of individuals, those who are belonging to the management or industry, okay, or some sort of employees and their trade union. So these group of people, those who are belonging to, in general we call as the parties which are connected with the organizations, means management and employee, okay, or sometimes there will be a trade union members, okay, they come up with certain kind of issues to some third party persons, those who are not belonging to that particular industry or trade union, to mutually arrive on decision to resolve that particular dispute, okay, that process is called as the process of conciliation. So in case of that conciliation, generally there will be a negotiation in between the parties, those who are being connected with that particular industrial premises. There may be regarded as one of the phase of that collective bargaining and extension of process of mutual negotiation under the guidance of third party. That third party could be, okay, nothing but the government of India who has set the mechanism, okay, there may be conciliation officers, okay, or board of conciliation which can be appointed by the government of India. So in front of either conciliation officer or board of conciliation, okay, the members or representatives of management, employees and trade union, they will come up with whatever form of issues and try to discuss in front of that third party person, means conciliation officer or board of conciliation, and try to resolve that particular dispute or to resolve that any sort of conflict among them. This process is called as the process of conciliation. Both the central as well as state government are empowered under the Industrial Dispute Act 1947 to appoint such number of conciliation officers as may be considered necessary or specified areas for specified industries in specified areas, either permanently or for limited period. Now whenever we are talking about to resolve any particular dispute or to settle any particular dispute in the industry, the government of India has made the mechanism under the process of that conciliation. So the government of India will decide to appoint the conciliation officers in that particular industry to resolve that particular industrial dispute either in that specific areas or specified industries in specified areas. So there should be a permanent or a limited period of time. This appointment of conciliation officers can be made by the government of India under the Industrial Dispute Act 1947. When we are talking about this process of conciliation, so there will be some mutual adjustment in between the parties which are connected with that industrial conflict. So there should be certain sort of settlement or some sort of compromise has been made. So we called it is a settlement that is arrived in the proceeding under the act, okay, means whatever decision could be taken either by the conciliation officer or board of conciliation, that should be binding on all the parties to the dispute, okay. So whenever the representative of the management as well as the employee or trade union, they are coming in front of the third party, means our conciliation officer or board of conciliation, so whatever decision that could be taken by the board of conciliation or conciliation officer, that should be binding on both the parties, labor means the trade union and as well as the management. It is also binding on some other parties if they are summoned to be appear in conciliation proceedings as a parties to the dispute. If any other party, those are being connected with that industrial premises, so they will be summoned, okay, by that board of conciliation or conciliation officer. So summons will be sent to them, okay. Or in case of employer, such as settlement is also binding, okay, on his heir successor assigns, okay, in respect of establishment to which this dispute relate. So any other connected matter with that particular industry, those who are being looking after or connected with that particular employers, the decision should be binding on that particular employer and his connected subsidiaries also. In regard to employees, it is also binding on all the persons who are employed in the establishment. So once the decision or award has been taken by means of using conciliation officer or board of establishment, okay, that decision should be binding on all the employees, those are employed in that particular establishment to which the dispute relates on the date of the dispute, and also the person who subsequently become employed in that particular establishment. So even suppose the new employees are employed in that particular industry, that decision should be binding on all the employees. A settlement arrived by by agreement between the management and the workers and the trade union outside the process of conciliation. Conciliation is binding only on the parties to the agreement. Now sometimes what happens, okay, rather than approaching to the conciliation officer or board of conciliation, okay, there will be a mutual settlement on the process of resolving some industrial dispute or any industrial conflict related matters. So the representative of the management and workers or trade union, so okay, they they will take some sort of decision that proceedings is binding only to the parties those who are being involved in that particular agreement or contract, okay, which comes under the section 18. The second mechanism that the government of India which has been set, and that is called as the voluntary arbitration. Now, when to apply or go for voluntary arbitration by the employers or the worker or trade union. So, particularly when the conciliation officer or board of conciliation, they are failing to resolve any particular conflict or dispute, whichever the parties which are being connected with that particular dispute, the parties are advised to agree to the voluntary arbitration for settling the dispute. So, when the conciliation officer or board of conciliation, okay, they are not in a position to resolve that industrial dispute, so they will be suggested to go for voluntary arbitration for settlement of industrial dispute. For settlement of differences or conflict between the two parties, arbitration is an age-old practice in India. Now, how does it is an age-old practice in India? Okay, even during independence, the Mahatma Gandhi has took several initiatives to resolve the industrial matters and conflict which has been connected with the several industries, particularly textile industries in India, by means of mutual settlement in between the parties those are being connected with that industrial conflict or dispute. So in 1956 the government has decided, okay, to place the voluntary arbitration as one of the measure for the settlement of that industrial dispute through third party intervention under the law. So government of India has decided, okay, there should be some appropriate mechanism so that voluntarily the parties those are being connected with that industrial dispute, they should involved in the process to resolve the dispute, okay. So under section 10A was added to the Industrial Dispute Act, and it was enforced from March 10th 1957. So there should be a mutual agreement in between the parties those who are being connected wherever they are voluntarily involved in the process of arbitration, okay, through certain third party intervention. That third party, either it could be a part of the government or any other person, maybe certain a mass popular leader, okay, that can be influenced to resolve any particular form of industrial dispute over here. So particularly during independence, okay, Mahatma Gandhi and several other national leaders, those who are being taking a lot of initiative to resolve the any kind of industrial matters, okay, which are being connected with the industries. Where the dispute exists or is being apprehended, okay, it can be referred for arbitration if the parties to the dispute agree to do so by submitting an written agreement to that effect. So okay, so in case of that process of voluntary arbitration, okay, wherever the industrial dispute has been happening, the management and as well as the labor or trade union which are being connected with that particular industrial premises, so they will be coming to any other third party person which are not connected with the industry and submitting some sort of written agreement, okay, and that is that can be mentioned the person acceptable to them as an arbitrator, and also the issue to be decided in the process of arbitration proceedings to the government and the conciliation officers concerned before it is referred for the process of adjudication to the labor courts or tribunal. So it is the second stage wherever we try to resolve the dispute by means of using the mutual coordination and the negotiation, okay, wherever they will decide voluntarily and comes in front of the third person which are not exactly connected with that particular industry, okay. If there is a mutual adjustment, okay, by means of using some sort of agreements among them, okay, they can resolve their dispute voluntarily, okay. Otherwise the case can be referred to for the process of adjudication to labor court, okay, or for industrial tribunal. So that is the process of that voluntary arbitration. Further, whenever we are talking about that voluntary arbitration, okay, there would be certain sort of agreement in between the parties, those who are being mutually connected with them. So that agreement must be signed by both the parties, okay, both under the section 10A and 10.2, okay, reference that is obligatory. So there should be some sort of obligatory measures, okay, that could be implemented by both the parties, okay, whenever they try to resolve any particular industrial matter that has been connected with that particular industrial conflict. Where that industrial dispute has been referred for the process of arbitration and notification has been issued by the government and may by order prohibit the continuation of any strike or lockout in connection with that particular dispute which may be in existence on the date of references. If the process of arbitration has been initiated, the government of India has been issued some sort of notices to prohibit the continuation of strike or lockout either by the employee or the employer, okay, during the period of process of arbitration. So arbitration award to be submitted to the government and becomes enforceable, and it is binding on all the parties to the agreement and all other parties. Some summons to be appear in the proceeding as the parties to the dispute. So whenever we are talking about whatever form of decision or award which has been taken, that award or decision can be binding on all the parties which are being connected with that particular industrial premises using certain agreements, okay, or the other subsidiaries, okay, which are connected with that industrial dispute or that industrial premises, okay, they were also summons has been sent to that particular subsidiaries also. Such an award is also binding on all the employees at the time of award or to be employed subsequently even if they are not the party to the initial agreement, okay. In the process of that industrial settlement of industrial dispute, okay, that voluntarily arbitration award that should be also applicable and binding on all the employees those are being connected with that industrial disputes, okay, or during the time of award, okay, or they are employed subsequently if they are not the party to the initial agreement. Means initially suppose they were not the part of that particular agreement, but later on they will become the part of that particular agreement, okay, but the that voluntary arbitration award could be binding on all the parties. If the arbitration agreement has not been notified in the official gazette under section 10A, it is applicable only to the parties who have agreed to refer the dispute for the process of arbitration. So according to the official gazette of Industrial Dispute Act, which has been specified under section 10A, okay, and parties those are being agreeing on mutually agreeing on by means of using some sort of agreement to solve any particular industrial dispute or matter, okay, one can refer to the dispute for the process of arbitration, okay, and only the parties who are being connected with they can go for the process of voluntary arbitrations, which can be specified under the official gazette of under section 10A. The third one is called as the adjudication process. Whenever the Industrial Dispute Act that is happening in more than one state, or suppose say it is of national importance, then it could be transferred to some particular authorities that is called as national tribunal. So whenever the process of conciliation or voluntary arbitration process fails to resolve any industrial dispute or matter that is connected with that any industrial premises, so adjudication can be made a compulsory method to resolve any particular industrial conflict in that particular enterprise. So wherever the government of India has set a mechanism, and that is called as under the Industrial Dispute Act, that provides some sort of machinery for the process of adjudication. So that in case of process of adjudication, the government has set up the labor courts, industrial tribunal and national tribunal. So these authorities will be look after that particular case, okay, whenever the industrial dispute which has been not resolved by the process of conciliation and as well as by the uh, uh, our voluntary arbitration. Whatever the powers, roles, responsibilities, duties of these labor courts, industrial tribunal and national tribunal, okay, they are somewhat similar in nature, okay, and provision has been made in regard to the commencement of the award and as well as period of operations of the award. These authorities will take the respective decisions, okay, on the basis of whatever form of conflict which has been arises in that particular industry in between labor and the management. So under the provisions of the Act 1947 Act, Industrial Dispute Act 1947, the labor court and industrial tribunal can be constituted by the central and state government. So under the central and state government there will be a mechanism that is called as labor court and industrial tribunal that will be look after the whatever form of industrial dispute that are being arises in various industries. So they will take care of, okay, and provide some decisions or award by means of using the process of adjudication. There will be some sort of authorities that is called as national tribunal, okay, and national tribunal can be constituted by the government of India for adjudicating the dispute, okay, or in its opinion involves some sort of question of national importance of such a nature that industrial establishment is situated in more than one state and are likely to be affected by such dispute. So in certain industries, wherever the industrial dispute can be arises due to other relevant problems within that particular industrial premises which is of national importance, means uh, if suppose it will be get affected largely to the masses, so those who are being belonging to the various states even also, okay, or any industrial establishment situated in more than one state, okay, it could be get affected the overall operations of the enterprise and as well as the that particular industrial premises. So overall working and uh, the growth and development of that maintaining the industry relation that could be hamper in that particular area, okay, whenever the national trade even can be get affected. So in that case the case can be referred to the national tribunal, okay, and it should be looked after by the central government of India. So that is all about the process or mechanism of uh, our settlement of industrial dispute, okay, that could be helpful to investigate any matters that is connected with industrial dispute. So that's all for our today's session. Thank you very much.